Honestly, the Lumix cameras just keep getting better and better. Hello everybody, now hope you're all good. Now if you needed yet another reason to love the Lumix cameras even more, I'm going to give you one. And that is the Xpan crop. So the Xpan crop is yet another amazing yet very much appreciated added feature that Lumix have got inside of these cameras. Basically, if you don't know what the Xpan crop is, it's a 65:24 aspect ratio that was popularized by the Hasselblad Xpan cameras. Now you may have come across this already because it's becoming increasingly popular again, and that's because of its unique perspective and field of view, because it's actually quite a lot wider than your standard 35mm or 16:9 field of view that you're used to, offering that cinematic, yes, that word again, cinematic or panoramic feel, which is just awesome if you ask me. It basically just takes what would ordinarily be a very average photograph and just makes it a lot more interesting in my opinion. And in today's video, I'm going to take you out on a little POV just to test it out and see what we can come up with. Now it's worth pointing out before we go any further that it's not actually a true Xpan field of view. No. It's essentially just cropping out the top and the bottom to give that sort of wide Xpan feel that you would get from the traditional Hasselblad cameras. So it doesn't make your image any wider, and it's not going to make your 24mm perform like a 16mm. Can't do miracles. So it basically just crops the top and bottom. So you do lose some resolution, which is fine because in a camera like this, which is 24 megapixels, you're going to get 6000 by 4000 pixel image. And this is basically going to reduce that to a 6000 wide, because it doesn't impact the width, down to a 2208, I believe, pixels in height. So you are going to lose quite a lot of resolution, and it brings it down to I think about a 13.25 megapixel image, which is still perfectly fine for most case scenarios these days. I mean, unless you're going to be printing them on billboards, I wouldn't worry too much. So that's just one little caveat. There are a couple more, along with a couple of major benefits that I think may change the way that you shoot with this camera. But before I go into that, let's watch the POV. Shut up, Sam. Right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another photography POV. Today I'm with the Lumix S5iiX along with the 24-105 f4, just because I want a bit of versatility because I'm using the Xpan crop and I have no idea how to compose it. So I'm just testing it out today, see what we think. So it's really interesting, I think. I mean, already. So look. Yeah, so you might have noticed this time I've got the screen fixed to the back, so no swivel screen this time, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Made a bit of a mess of it last time. Right, so we're shooting in aperture priority, minimum shutter again, because I want to freeze that motion blur with people running around and stuff, and as the light changes and stuff like that, I don't want any unwanted motion blur. So I think I've got that set to 160 or something like that. Should be fine. I did actually get a nicer shot of that the other day that I put on the screen now. I know it's cheating a bit, but it's really annoying. There was a couple with a dog the other day just sat on that bench and it looked so good. Again, I'll overlay the image. Cheating I know, but can't always capture everything, can you? It actually looks quite nice without anybody sat there, but just imagine if someone was sat there. I can't wait forever. So like the last vlog I made, I'm using real-time LUT again, because why not? If I like the images, I don't have to edit them. If I don't like them, I can edit the raws. This could be a nice shot. Just hover here, as if nothing's happening. Yeah, the guy with the pink dog, is he going to turn off though? Yeah, that will look pretty good. Down there. So we'll wait till these go past, see how that looks. Might be too much distraction in the back, but we'll see. Oh, there's a bird. Yeah, so as I was saying before, this crop, honestly, it just takes what would normally be a very boring sort of generic shot and just makes it so much more interesting, because you're getting rid of like so much unwanted distraction. So a lot of the time you've got a lot of the ground and the sky that you don't necessarily want in your image, and then this, I don't know, it kind of gives you a new perspective. Makes it a little bit more fun to shoot with. I want someone on that bench. Do you think they'll go, or shall I try and have them get the bench? Get them through the trees maybe? Coming out the other way. There's a dog there which looks quite interesting, so what do we think? Do you think they're going to pop in view? Honestly, this is the bane of my life. People not doing what I want them to do. The guy's looking at me now, he's probably wondering what I'm taking photos of. There we go. So I'm shooting at f4 because I want as much background blur as I possibly can with this lens. Squirrel, can I get you? Let's have a look. Ooh. Come on, little fella. Right, second attempt at this blossom tree with people walking past. Got a couple coming down with a dog. Dogs are always interesting subjects, as are people with dogs. So let's frame up first, see how we're looking, and we'll get them. See, look at that. I mean, it's just a boring shot, but it just looks nice. Bet they're going to stop and pick up dog poo or something. Nah, he didn't want me to shoot him, so I won't bother. Let's see if I can get you now, you little sneaky. That'll do. Didn't want me to take his photograph, but you can't tell who he is, come on. Maybe he's a celebrity. Who knows? Felt a bit awkward though. Right, let's just see how this looks from close up. It's just a boring shot, but you know what I mean by just make something what would be boring quite interesting. Maybe if I go lower. Yeah, so honestly I was a bit concerned I won't get any decent images today because the weather's been amazing, I'm not even kidding, for the past 2 weeks straight. And the day that I decided to come out, it's overcast. Let's scope out a potential shot here. Hopefully this couple goes the way I want them to. Yes. Come on, walk a little bit quicker. And there we go. Nice. Just gonna get them going up that path. Nice. Again though, boring shot, but it actually looks good. Right, those two are pure fluke. Pure fluke. And again, just looks nicer with that crop. So look, just do the bog standard shot here. Just get the lady with the dog. Just go in there. The other one went up there. Oh. Yeah. Alright, let's see if we can get these people going down that path.
Are you laughing? Let's go to the bridge.
It'd be nice if someone just came into the frame over in the end over there. But I'm not going to get that lucky tonight. Right, so I think we're going to end it there. Hopefully I got some good shots, but I need to get back and bath and bed the baby. It's not much of a baby anymore, it's 18 months old, but yeah, I need to get back on. So I'll see you in the studio. Right, come on, what do we think? I personally love it, honestly. And I know I said this in the video, but it basically just takes what would normally be a very boring or very average looking photograph and just makes it much more interesting to look at. Absolutely love it. Now, one question you may have is, Sam, why don't you just shoot like normal and then just crop it in post? Well, Steve, I'm glad you asked. Essentially, that won't always work. And that's because typically when you're out shooting, you're going to be looking through a 3x2 field of view. So you'll have distractions in your 3x2 field of view that you'll instinctively want to try and remove. And what I mean by that is, a good photographer doesn't always look for what to include in their image, they also look for things to exclude from their image. These are typically known as distractions, which, if they were to remain in your image, would just distract the viewer from what you originally intended to show them. Because you're essentially wanting to tell a story in your photography, and composition is one of the best ways that you can do this. So if you're forced into viewing the world through a completely different lens, excuse the pun, then you're going to tell your story differently, and therefore you're going to compose your shot completely differently to if you were shooting in a 3x2. Does that make sense? To sum it up, if you were to crop a 3x2 image down to a 65x24, then you're more than likely going to have to remove elements of your photograph that you didn't intend to, and sometimes even parts of your subject. Because no matter how good of a photographer you are, you're not always going to be able to look through the lens with multiple crop factors in mind to tell the same story. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes you can just get lucky and an image does work in multiple crops, or the environment just calls for a different crop. But you can't beat just shooting in the correct format in real time to begin with. That way you just know what you're going to get. But also I find that it actually changes the way you shoot, because you're going to have to compose your image completely differently, and being able to see it in real time really helps with that, because what I found is that I'm actually having to step back or even zoom out a little bit further than I would originally have to do with like a 3x2 crop, because I've got so much more vertical room to play with that I can afford for my subject to be a little bit larger in the frame. Whereas when it's cropped so narrow, you don't have any more height to work with, so to get your subject in, you're going to either have to step back or zoom out further than you normally would. So it just changes the way you think. So it's actually best to just shoot in the crop that you're meant to shoot in. That way you just know it's going to be correct. So at the beginning of the video, I did promise you a couple of more pros and cons to using this crop with this camera. So firstly, if we look at the cons, and then I'm going to show you the pros that I feel overcome those cons to work to my benefit. So the first one was you lose a bit of resolution, which we've already covered. The next con is quite a big one if you ask me, and I hope that they update it with a firmware update, but there must be a reason, is you can't use continuous autofocus. So you're stuck with single autofocus, which is a bit of a pain. However, I see it as a little bit of a benefit, because when I used DSLR, I used to always use single point autofocus, and you know, I think it makes you a better photographer. It kind of hones your skills, gives you a bit more practice, and irons out those kinks, whereas everything else nowadays is just too automated. It makes photography a little bit too easy. So going back to single point autofocus is actually quite, I know, refreshing in a way. It's back to the simple days of focus and recompose. But along with the lack of continuous autofocus, you also don't have as many focus area modes to use either. So you're stuck with the one area focus mode, which I don't actually know what it's called, but it's just one area. You can still move the spot around and it's quite flexible. You can change the size, so it still works well. And you still get human and animal detect, which is still pretty good. Now the next caveat is you can't shoot in burst mode. You're pretty much stuck to single shot shooting. So yeah, that does kind of restrict on how you can actually use this crop and what scenarios you would choose it for, because let's face it, you're not going to use this for sport because you can't be quick enough. You can't use continuous autofocus, so your subject's just going to run away before you've even had a chance to capture it. And then if you wanted to try and capture it, you'd have to move that spot around so fast that it'd be like a ninja, some sort of camera ninja, autofocusing ninja. But for like landscape or very mild street photography like I was doing, it's fine. I mean, it's just fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. I mean, would I have preferred autofocus, like continuous autofocus? Yes, I probably would have. Might have made my life a little bit easier. So yeah, those are the main caveats that I've come across anyway. So if you do still want to shoot in this mode, to set this up, you're going to have to make sure that you're not in burst mode. You're going to have to put it back to single shot shooting. Otherwise, this crop is just grayed out and you can't actually access it. Now time for the pros. First off, I had no idea about this one until the first time I used this crop mode and I brought the photos back into Lightroom and tried to edit them. I was actually quite blown away by this and I did not expect it. But when you shoot in RAW, right, it maintains the original 3x2 crop. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong, on screen it still looks like that. But then if you go into the crop mode on Lightroom, you can see the whole 3x2 shot that you took. So if you wanted to recompose your image, or if your horizon was slightly wonky and you wanted to sort of straighten it up, you can do. You've got that extra lateral movement to be able to adjust it in post. Or if you thought that it actually looked better in 3x2, you can change it back to a 3x2 or crop a different way, maybe portrait, I don't know. But yeah, it just gives you so much more flexibility in post, which I think is fantastic. And if you shoot in JPEG and RAW at the same time, along with real-time LUT, the JPEG maintains the crop, right? So it doesn't actually keep the 3x2, but you've got the RAW for the 3x2 that you can edit to your heart's content, and then you've got JPEG, which has the crop baked in, and then you can share that to social media gods, and then, oh, honestly, it's all sorted for you. It's like the thought of everything. It's great. Love it. And the second pro isn't actually a pro, it's more of a hack. And it's more of a hack on how to get around some of the cons, right? Hear me out. Because I kind of really like this crop and I wouldn't mind using it most of the time. However, it does have a lot of restrictions. But with this little hack, it means that you can use it all the time and have hardly any of the restrictions. So the way I've got this set up is, I have C2 on the custom dial set up to aperture priority mode with this Xpan crop in, right? And because we can't use burst shooting, we can only use single point shooting, it means that when I twist the dial and put it into burst mode, it goes from the Xpan crop back to a 3x2 crop. And all the auto-focusing features and focus area modes come back to life at the flick of a dial. And if you go back to single point shooting, it puts it back in the Xpan crop. I mean, that's just genius. So that means now I can permanently have it in Xpan, and then when I want to actually put it back in a 3x2 and use my auto-focusing modes and all those extra focusing abilities that this camera has, I can just put it in burst shooting mode. And half the time I use burst shooting mode anyway for when I'm out and about. So it's like having an extra custom dial. I mean, honestly, if that isn't a hack, I don't know what is. Genius. Sometimes I amaze myself. So that's it from me. Honestly, I really enjoy this Xpan crop mode and I'm so happy that it's in these cameras because not a lot of other camera manufacturers have these sort of things included, and Lumix just seem to always include something really cool that you kind of just don't expect. So yeah, I love Lumix. Well done, guys. That's it from me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Really helps out the channel. Consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this. Hit the bell. All those nice things that will put a smile on my face. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
I know, you heard a little something about me, right? People love to talk, everybody wanna doubt me, right? I know, bunch of fakes all around me, right? They clowning like, I ain't hear what it sounded like. I know, these fools hating on the low, smiling all in my face, stab me in the back, though.